Thank you everyone for having me here. Again, I think we had an amazing keynote session by some of the most experienced leaders in the industry. And then another great session by Sabir. So now when it comes to my uh, discussion, so few points. First is that if you remember what Shrikant was saying in the beginning, because of the unfortunate events at Chennai, there might be few agenda items where you might see someone on the note and someone on the stage. So that applies to me. Architecture India was supposed to take the session, but again, because of a personal tragedy, he could not travel. But again, I think it's your good luck that I am here. So I am Goutam. I am a lead solution architect for OutSystems in India. Uh, in the 16 years of experience, I started my career in data engineering when data engineering and software engineering were more or less the same. Uh, and then I switched to management consulting with firms like KPMG and PwC in India. And I'm very glad that at least some of the people whom I saw on paper, I had a long-standing relationship with them. But now coming to low code, the topic that I am going to discuss today, so for last 4-5 years, I have been working with leaders in low code as a platform. So honestly, I don't know much about that area, and I believe with leaders like you who have been at least trying to get into that space, it's an enriching experience for me to be here, to know your thoughts, what you are thinking about low code, high code, Gen AI, everything. And the last point about the discussion is that we have spoken a lot about disaster recovery, we have spoken a lot about modernization, cloud, etc. And I think it makes me really happy that I got to take the topic, which is flavor of the session, Gen AI. And I am pretty sure we have multiple sessions on Gen AI coming up between today and tomorrow. So with that, let's start. Let's start the discussion. Any guesses? What's it? I don't see any code. I don't see anything low. I don't see anything AI here. Yes? Please? Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, too technical, supposed to be a technology event. Nothing, I think it's a good sign to start the discussion with something as cute as a teddy bear. But so, I've been married for 8 years now, so I think this solves a lot of problems in personal life. So I thought if I put it in the beginning of the presentation, there is a very less chance that the presentation might go wrong. Having said that, this is definitely, it's not actually a teddy bear. You can see it's a teddy bear with wings of a dragon. This doesn't exist. I mean, it exists in our imagination, but this doesn't exist. And this image has been generated by GenCraft. So again, whatever is the free app that I could got on my iPhone, I generated this image out of it. Since I'm going to touch upon a bit about Gen AI, I thought it's better to start with something that has been really generated by the AI. So with that, let's begin. Gen AI, I think all of you would be coming across Gen AI definitely with pressure from business, what we are doing about Gen AI, when I am going to have my own chat GPT. Maybe at your home, you might be seeing your kids using Gen AI to solve homeworks, take care of day-to-day activities, and all those things. We'll talk a bit about it. But for me, when I look at it, how the whole scenario evolved. So my mother is a professor in psychology. When she used to, I mean, she doesn't know much about maths, doesn't know much about stats. But whenever she did her research, be it her doctoral thesis, be something else, they used to do a lot of data crunching. They used to validate the hypothesis. They used to take care of, statistical methodology like ANOVA, regression analysis, factor analysis, etc. So earlier, what was very confined to the domain of academics and to some extent to market research firms, so now it has become, so AI is nothing new in that sense. I mean, it has been there around for, I think, 50, 60 years. But industrialization of AI, I think one of the events that brought AI uh, in front of the people was what happened in 1997 when Deep Blue, the computer developed by IBM, kind of defeated Gary Kasparov. So before that, it was never thought that in something as skillful as chess, artificial intelligence will supersede natural intelligence. But 1997, at least as far as I know, 1997 is that when that happened. And then in 2015, same thing happened with DeepMind by Alphabet or Google uh, in terms of the game called Go. Personally, I have never played Go, but again, it's thought of more skillful and it requires more intuitive thinking than chess. So these are the two events. I think in 2015, then it became established that we have actually done enough in the area of artificial intelligence, and then it started getting, kind of the publicity it is getting now. And final piece, maybe some of you might have read the book. So this book by Jasprit Bindra, The Tech Whisperer, got published in 2019. He spoke about a lot of things from his experience, maybe blockchain, digital experience, customer experience, etc. One thing which stood out in the book was that it has a complete chapter on AI written by AI. In 2019, it was 2019, that's why he did not use the word Gen AI, but still there is a chapter. If you buy the book, you can see from the sidelines, from the edges, you can see there are multiple pages in green. So those are the pages that was written by AI in 2019, and he had mentioned, I mean, if you Google it, you go through his post and all, you'll get to know what they did to generate a chapter on AI without any human intervention. So with that, now let's get to our topic of discussion today. So as I told that I am going to discuss about the flavor of the session, which is Gen AI. But again, Gen AI, you are not going to get it directly. I'll start with the entree. Entree is going to be low code. So when I say low code, it's more of high performance low code. I'll explain that to you, what I mean by that. And maybe if you have any thoughts on that, I would like to hear that from you in the next 2 days. And then the main course would be AI-powered low code. So, and when I say AI, I want to keep it very distinct from Gen AI. So we'll talk about how the marriage of AI and low code is happening. And then the dessert would be the Gen AI. And when I talk about Gen AI, I'll talk about what is happening with AI plus low code, what's happening with Gen AI on its own, and what might happen with Gen AI plus low code. So I think that's one area where we have seen a lot of interest in last 3 to 4 months. And I think that's the area you would like to hear. So now let's start. I mean, taking care, just to ensure that we are on time. Again, I don't want to spend much time, but I just want to bring to your notice one word, which is high performance. So when I say high performance low code, what I mean is today, so when you go and search for low code, no code, or low code, etc., you will come across many, many players. But the problem is that you invest in a technology, it's still not able to take care of at least 80–90% of your business requirements. So as a CIO, I believe it's not going to help you if you invest in something which is applicable only for maybe 10 to 20% of your portfolio. So when I talk about high performance low code, what I mean is that you are investing in a low code technology that can at least address 75 to 80% of the application development requirements in your portfolio. And again, even though the statement is generic, it applies to any industry, any vertical, any function, and you should be able to build any kind of solution. It can be an extremely complex CRM solution. It can be a simple get pass or a visitor management solution. It can be a procurement workflow that involves maybe multiple parallel flows and maybe up to 7 levels of deep workflow. So irrespective of the use case, you should be able to take care of at least 75 to 80% of your application development requirement on a single platform. So now, very quickly, today as a leader, when you want to realize something or you want to build something or to deliver something to your business, there are 3 options. One is that you can directly go to market, buy something off the shelf. Second is that you can deliver that piece of hyper automation to your business by leveraging the army of in-house developers that you have, or you can outsource that to someone who might have been working with you for quite some time. And the third option is low code. So today what happens, if you look at the y-axis, and I'm sorry if the slide looks a bit stretched out. Here we are starting with standard commodity. So when I say standard commodity, there are specific, or let's say general solution to generic problems, like be it a CRM, be it a ERP, be it a IT service management solution. People know at a high level how the problems look like and how they can be solved. So when you go ahead and procure one of those solutions and then configure and customize it a bit to fit your requirements, and you can get up and running. And on the other end of the spectrum, you are talking about unique solutions. Now, why this uniqueness matters? Because the way we see SaaS solutions today or COTS today, they took a lot of time to evolve. Earlier, when I think the whole information technology started, even to manage a printer, people used to write their own piece of code. Then it took a lot of evolution, a lot of thinking to come up with commercially available solutions so that you can readily go ahead and address those problems. What changed in between that era of COTS to today? The problem is that today everyone is talking about having businesses with unique modes. Everyone is talking about competitive advantage. So the competitive advantage in your business will be deeply embedded into your business process at a ground level, at a worm's eye view, not at a bird's eye view. So when you go ahead with a commercially available solution or a readily available product, you are relying on the expertise of the vendor to understand your business, which is fundamentally incorrect. It has worked, but it won't be able to give you that 100% customization that you are looking at. And that's where uniqueness is coming into play. So if you go to any, without taking any names, any of the large business organizations who are running their business on a platform, they are trying to build their platform in-house also, which takes a lot of effort. Be it, you need to have maybe let's say not best, but need to have great engineers, you need to have great product managers, you need to have an army of DevSecOps people, you need to be able to manage everything. And again, just building the application is just the tip of the iceberg. You need to ensure that you are able to make changes, you are able to deploy those, address any requirements or any change request that's coming from business. And that's where, okay, so I spoke about two things on the both ends of the spectrum. This is where somewhere in between these two things, low code, no code, citizen development, blah, 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 they originated. So if you look at it, one way of looking is there is a solution that you might have an ERP. On the ERP, you are doing a lot of customization using Java or .NET. Tomorrow, the ERP vendor itself says that I am going to give you a low-code layer so that without having the need to hire Java developers, you can make changes on your own in my environment. So that's one layer. But the problem with that, and again, even though I took the name, I took the word as ERP, it applies to everything, be it an ITSM, be it an CRM. But the problem there is, it works reasonably well if you are operating, if all of your business is running only in that ecosystem. The moment you go beyond that ecosystem, the moment you are looking, let's say you are looking at a mobile app that you want to be published into maybe Play Store or App Store, then unfortunately these kind of extended low-code solutions do not work. Because their primary objective was to strengthen the ERP, their objective was never to ensure that you are able to build anything that you want at the pace that your business wants. So that's where high performance low code comes into play, where you can actually build everything that lies in between these two layers. So definitely you won't have to spend, you don't have to go to your board and asking for the largest share of their annual budget just because you want to hire a bunch of developers. And people, I think you might have seen that over the last 2 years, you might be giving a very, very competitive package, but there is no guarantee that the person will show up on Monday when he's supposed to show up to start his work. So that talent gap is there, and a lot of things come into play. So if you are looking for one platform which can cater to, again, I would not say 100% because that might not be correct at this stage today, at this level of maturity. But if you're looking at one platform where you can address 75 to 90% of your all your application portfolio requirements, then the kind of platform that you should look at, I call those kind of platform as high performance low code. So just to summarize very quickly what I have said, so we spoke about three paradigm or three approaches to software development. One is traditional development, which is the de facto standard today. But again, there is a shortage of talent. Maintenance cost becomes very high. There is a very high people dependency. Someone who has written the code for your CRM, if he leaves the organization tomorrow, then you actually need a lot of effort to just to replace that person. SaaS and COTS, as I told, it's very generic to give you any tangible business benefit, and that's where, and low code, no code. So when I say low code, no code, most of the, about 95, 98% of the no code, low code solutions today, they have very limited capability. They're, as I was giving the example, if you want to build a mobile app that should be able to, that should enable you to serve maybe 6 million customers. So it's very difficult to build that with the normal low code solution. So my point of view is that any solution, any low code solution that enables you to do that, I call them as, or I am calling it out as a high performance low code solution. So if you look at it, how a high performance low code solution should look like, I mean definitely we cannot go through the whole architecture right now. But at a very high level, if you look at it, it should be able to replace full stack development. Today, when people talk about low code, no code, there is an understanding that form, field, you can build forms, you can build lists, but list and form are not the front end. So you should be able to build everything that's possible with React.js, Angular, Node, or any kind of, any front end framework of your choice. Another aspect is that there are some evolved low code solutions which, okay, they can address a lot of front-end requirements, but what about back-end? It doesn't make any sense to have your front-end on low-code and back-end again if it has to go the traditional way. Definitely there are APIs when it comes to back-end. Today when we talk about back-end, most of it are APIs, it's already written and you need to connect to it. But still, if you do not have low-code in back-end and only front-end is on low-code, then I don't know, maybe one way of putting it would be having a scooter's engine on a car or something like that. Coming to the second aspect, integration and extension, as I told, there are people who work very well in a limited environment. So there are particular solutions. With those 10 solutions, this particular low code will integrate very well. But there is no guarantee that your solution or your company is running on those 10 applications. So what happens then? So you should have the ability to consume anything, integrate seamlessly with anything, and also there should be ability that anything that you develop on this particular low code that can be exposed to the external world, and everyone should be able to use that seamlessly without any problem. Third aspect, which is extremely crucial, considering that we started the keynote with a disaster recovery. So the building application is fine. I mean, this is something that everyone sees, everyone talks about. But again, just the tip of the iceberg. So what happens to your end-to-end DevSecOps lifecycle? Tomorrow, if let's say your company is up for an acquisition, and the acquirer wants to come and their auditor wants to run a SAST on the application that you have built. So on low code, you don't see the code. How you are going to run a SAST on top of it? Tomorrow, someone wants to run a VAPT, and after running a VAPT on the application, they have come across, let's say, 25 gaps or 25 red flags. Who is going to fix that? So these are some of the key scenarios that you are bound to consider in an enterprise setup. Because with low code, you don't know what's happening to code. You did not write the code. So with enterprise low code, this is one thing that should be completely taken care of. And in the AI-powered low code that we are going to talk about, we will see how AI is helping you not only to build application or not only in the dev part, how also it is helping you on the ops part. So AI, so I call it as a maker-checker ecosystem, where AI is the maker for you, and also you have AI as the checker for you. So AI is completely onboarded. He is in your team. It is in your team, and it's helping you to make the application and also check the application. And there is a closed loop feedback mechanism through which you ensure that everything is hunky-dory. And finally, it should be one platform that can cater to all your requirements, be it about building a mobile application, web application, tablet-specific application, maybe building a chatbot, building APIs, building notification services. Everything should, as I told, like 75 to 90% of your requirements should be addressed by one platform, and that's where the final piece comes into play. Now, the question is, what is AI-powered low-code? Okay, we spoke about high-performance low-code. That means that low-code with a lot of capability to help you address almost 90% of your enterprise's needs in application development. But what is AI-powered low-code? So today, what happens? There is AI, there is the developer. So those of you who are kind of old enough would know that there was a concept extremely popular in early 2000 called as pair programming, which was a part of the extreme programming paradigm. So as a pair programmer, someone will write the code and someone will be looking over his or her shoulders to ensure that the code being written is right. So in AI-powered low-code today, you have AI as your paired programming buddy. So now the question comes that from where this AI is coming. Okay, the developer, he has a formal education, he has some kind of work experience that makes him enable, that enables him to do the development. But how you train the AI, where this AI comes into play? So the answer to that is, there is something called as the AI Fusion Framework, which is kind of a machine learning model built on about millions and millions code snippet. So the system has learned from it, and using that knowledge, it is enabling the developer to build applications extremely fast. So if you look at it from a maker-checker point of view, these are some of the capabilities. Maker is for building the application, so you can see how just by giving a prompt, you are being able to create that specific requirement. Again, I'm not talking about generative AI there, it is still natural language understanding. Second part is that a lot of things are automatically recommended by the system. All you need to do is follow what the system is suggesting. Coming to the checker part, you can see this is how it tells you from a red, amber, green point of view, what is the health of your portfolio, how you can improve your technical debt, what are the challenges, what is the impact of those challenges. So without any human intervention, things are getting done in the fashion that you expect them to work. Now, finally coming to Gen AI. So we spoke about high performance low code. We saw how AI or machine learning model, to be honest, it's machine learning, is enabling low code. Now when we talk about Gen AI, what's the difference? So one thing before I get into Gen AI plus low code is that with Gen AI today we are talking about ChatGPT and other solutions from Google, etc., where you go give a prompt and get an output. So what's wrong with that approach? If you look at it, so primarily you are giving a prompt which can be a task, it can be input, and you are giving some kind of a guidance what that input, what the output should look like. And there you have the LLM models like be it GPT-4, be it any other Gemini, any other LLM model. And again, if you double click on any of these models, you can see I have taken the example of GPT, that's why you see a transformer architecture over there. Then there is a data set of 570 GB in GPT, which is again changing as we speak. And then there is the GPUs enabled by NVIDIA or any other solution, any other OEM like that. But the ultimate result for you is a code. That code has the ability, that's where the AI is coming into picture, is that it might not be correct, but it will sound accurate. So that's something you need to be absolutely clear, because this is one example. I have white labeled the name of the organization, very, very, very reputed global organization, and this is what they faced because they used ChatGPT. And how low-code, AI-enabled low-code changes that, instead of getting the code or a text snippet, you are getting the end result, which is a executable code which is published, and AI also takes care of that publishing. It's not only built it for you, it's also taking the ownership and accountability of publishing it for you. So whatever you get is publishable and something that can hit the production. So that's the difference. With low code, whatever is taking, let's say you get a 5x productivity. With AI powered low code, you get a 10x productivity. With Gen AI plus low code, you will get 100x productivity. And just again, don't go by scale. If you look at it, with only human development, the size of the bubble is the TCO. With human development, time to market is high, and the complexity that can be handled. Again, you can, highly complex application can be developed with natural intelligence also. And second part is generative AI. If you use something like a chat GPT, complexity you can develop, you are getting the code script, but the problem of that being accurate is with Python, I think it's 40%, for Java, .NET, etc., it would be 20% or less. So the time to market doesn't reduce much because you have generated the code, still you are going to spend a lot of time in debugging that. So as my manager says it, if you are writing codes wrong, writing more code is not going to help you. If I am delivering no balls, doesn't matter whether I am bowling 1 over or 10 over, if all I am doing is throwing no balls. So that's the point that one needs to understand, and with Gen AI plus low code, that problem is taken care of, because it's not only that you are getting a script, you are getting complete accountability from the generative AI and the low code platform to design, build, and then ultimately deploy, and also capture any feedback that might come from the end users. So with that, again, I did not get the time. If you want to see how Gen AI in action, please visit our booth right outside the hall. Thank you so much. Sorry for overstepping the line, but please blame it on the Teddy, not on me. Thank you so much.